Hi, everyone. This is Empower Your Students. As much as we want our schools to be oases of caring and compassion, our students' behavior is organized by a larger social context that includes judging and labeling, which over time can culminate in prejudice, discrimination, bullying, and violence. Meanwhile, students learn how to be nice, polite, and politically correct without actually confronting their real thoughts and feelings, understanding one another, or deciding how they want to treat each other. This activity, shifting your judgments, helps students notice their judgmental thoughts and still act with kindness and understanding and in accordance with their values. For this activity, each student will need a pen or pencil, the Examples of Values handout, and the sentence building worksheet. Both of these are available on our website, bit.ly/empoweryourstudents. So let's see how this activity works. At any point in school, did you ever do one of those sentence building activities? Like you started with "the cat slept" and expanded it into "the orange cat slept," and then "the orange cat slept peacefully," and you eventually had something like "the enormous orange cat slept peacefully on the soft fluffy bed while I had to clean up the milk it knocked over." Today's activity is sort of like that. Before we begin, I need to stress the importance of being totally silent and not sharing what you write on your sheet. Also, this isn't like a test where you have to answer everything. You probably noticed that the third column of your chart has some adjectives: annoying, mean, pathetic, stupid, and creepy. This might feel a little strange for some of you because you've probably been told at some point in your life not to use these words to describe people. And I'm going to ask you to use these words to describe people, but absolutely not out loud. So in each of the boxes with the words, you're going to write the name of a person who you would describe with that word. And you're also going to write is. For example, if I think my cousin Leah is annoying, then I would write the words Leah is, and I end up with Leah is annoying in that box. You don't have to fill in a box if you feel like it's wrong to do so or can't think of anyone you'd describe with the word in it. Now, in each box in the column immediately to the left of the column you just wrote in, you're going to write the words, "I'm making the judgment that." What happens when you add the words, "I'm making the judgment that," to your sentences? Now in that leftmost column, I'm going to ask you to write the words, "I notice." What happens when you add the words, "I notice"? When you notice something happening in your mind, you're not on autopilot. You might agree with the thought, and you might not, but it's not in control anymore. You are. You can still make choices based on your judgments, but you've opened up new possibilities too. Now in each box of that skinny middle column, you're going to write the word "and." That "and" means there can be more to the story than your judgments. Then, in each box in the next column, write, "I can approach her," or "I can approach him." Now you'll get a list of adverbs that describe qualities of action that some people think are important. Look them over carefully and circle ones that are most important to you when you think about how you want to act toward other people. And then put at least one of the adverbs you just circled, or one you think of yourself, into each box in the next column. For Leah, I'm going to write "thoughtfully." Take a few moments to think about the people whose names you've written on your paper. What are their lives like? Do you really know them? Can you imagine how each of them might be suffering? Can you imagine what they might need? I've said I can approach Leah thoughtfully, but how might she need me to approach her thoughtfully today or this week? Well, she just started a new job in a new city, and maybe she'd want to talk about that. So maybe I can approach her thoughtfully by calling her to ask how her new job is going. In each box in the last column, write the word "by" and then add a single specific action you can take today or in the very near future to behave in the way that you value. You finally finished building your sentences. My first one says, I notice I'm making the judgment that Leah is annoying, and I can approach her thoughtfully by calling her to ask how her new job is going. Read each of yours silently to yourself. One more step. Fold your paper in half, right through that middle column, and so the words are on the outside, and then open the paper up again. Look at how everything on the left half involves thoughts inside your head. Those thoughts are invisible unless you decide to say them out loud or act upon them. And look at how everything on the right half involves actions in the world. The and in the middle shows that you can have the thoughts without acting upon them. I can have the thought that Leah is annoying without avoiding her or making fun of her or complaining about her. You can have your thoughts and act upon your values. To symbolize this idea that our thoughts are invisible and our actions are visible, fold the paper back in half and put it down in front of you so you can only see the right side. So now all I see is I can approach her thoughtfully by calling her to ask how her new job is going. And I can! After this exercise, I ask if anyone would like to share just their right side sentences and how it felt to write it and how it felt to hear their classmates' sentences. But the bigger follow-up discussion comes a few days later when I ask my students if they tried any of the behaviors they put in the rightmost column of their charts. What was it like? In many cases, the behaviors won't be all that rewarding in the short term. If I call up someone I find annoying, I'll probably get off the phone feeling annoyed and wondering why I bothered and maybe resolving not to bother in the future. Students might say they felt frustrated or afraid or angry. You can ask, how does it feel to have acted upon your values? How do you think the other person felt, even if they didn't show it? What did that person need that you gave him or her? Other students might say they didn't try their behaviors and they don't plan to. You can validate the student's feelings. Of course it's unpleasant to interact with people we find annoying or mean or creepy. And what kind of lives would we be building for ourselves if we were to act only upon these kinds of judgments? What kind of lives are we building if we act upon our values? What happens when we think about the other person's needs? Helping students keep connecting their actions back to their values can provide the source of reinforcement they need to continue these behaviors, even if they're aversive in the short term. So I hope you enjoyed the Shifting Your Judgments activity and that you'll find it useful. If you're looking for more ways to empower your students to make school meaningful, you can visit our website, bit.ly/empoweryourstudents.